Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Davis, and you're watching Conversations in Pop Culture, and we are back to the basics. And before I introduce my guest, I do want to remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Pocket Jack Comics, who have books like Palace of the Golden Princess and White Lily, and you can find their books at pocketjackcomics.com or on Kickstarter. But enough about that, because I have with me comic creator Alton Simpson. So welcome back to the show.
Hey, good to be here. Always fun talking to you, Andrew.
Well, I appreciate that. That means a lot. That makes me feel special. So, especially given my tough year. But enough about me. It's not about me. Obviously, you just launched Witches of Westchester, Volume 1 graphic novel. Also, it's issue 3, and the art book, I think, is also with it. And
Yeah,
we're going to talk about that on Kickstarter in a few minutes here. But I figured
yeah,
I'd allow you to quickly introduce who you are, because I think this is your 11th project on Kickstarter.
yeah, it is. I guess my first one was around COVID, so 2020, and I created Vampires in New Jersey, and from that, it you know kind of snowballed, sold out at comic stores, and then some fans were like, "You should do Kickstarter," and I was like, "No, I can't." I did Indiegogo, and it sucked. I was terrible. I canceled it after 3 days. I sent to two people who backed a free comic because I felt so guilty. And they were like, no, 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 Kickstarter, we'll introduce you to some well-known artists and creatives that are on Kickstarter and, pair you with them. And that's how I funded the first Kickstarter. I guess it was April 2020. And then, my other, as comics got more popular, people would ask about more characters. So there's Werewolves of Brooklyn, biker crew from Brooklyn you can hire to do anything. Which is from Westchester. It's like Evil Dead meets The Craft. Blackjack, he's a superhero whose power is changed without his control. It's like X-Files meets Unbreakable. And Bunny Goes to Space, which is like Harley Quinn meets Barbarella. And all started with Vampires in New Jersey. It's like True Blood meets The Sopranos. So it's all one big shared universe.
Yeah, so let's get into this a little bit, because obviously you just launched the Kickstarter, and
Yeah.
this is for Witches of Westchester.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go out on a limb here. There's a lot of Westchesters in the United
Yes, they are.
States, but I'm pretty sure it's the Westchester, New York, because if it's a shared universe, I mean, if you have Brooklyn covered and you got Jersey covered,
Yeah.
the tri-state area is only so big.
Yeah.
But what
Well, there's
is
a Westchester, PA too.
that is true. That is
Yeah.
true. Um,
I picked Westchester because, like the Simpsons with Springfield, the Springfield's all over the place. So, in a way, I think the Simpsons have revealed where Springfield is, but when it started, you didn't know which Springfield. And I wanted a story that I could tell that would involve witches who are being trained. They're in college, which we've seen, more than once in school or whatever. But I wanted to connect all the Westchesters around the world throughout time through witches. So the witches in Westchester, New York of today are witches of Worcestershire, England from 1410, and also witches in another Westchester in 1921 to solve a common goal and beat a common villain. So
So yeah, so obviously there's a lot going on, because there's I mean, the main cast of characters here is these college students and these college girls,
yeah,
and they're learning witchcraftery, I guess, and they're trying to find teachers, and they kind of find a teacher,
right.
and then but obviously they are mastering their powers, and they're somewhat connected through space and time,
Mhm.
and so what is that like? Because it's so interesting, because obviously conflict ensues right out of this, and they're
Right.
learning and figuring it out, and then there's like a learning curve, but
Yeah.
they're also in a shared universe at the same time, which is also complicated. So like, what is this like? Because it's so interesting, because it's a standalone, but it definitely is in this whole universe that you created.
Yeah, they lean on each other if they get to a point where, what are we going to do here? Oh yeah, the witches might be able to help. So then I'll have like a segue of one of my characters, a vampire, is getting the witch on the phone. What do you guys think? And then the witches discuss it, and then they come up with some type of spell that might help the vampires or the werewolves, you know, because they're all kind of know each other.
because it's interesting because they have their own conflicts as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so like because that's what's so interesting about this whole book is that we have this their own conflict, then they're also in this shared universe,
right.
but I feel like the territories don't overlap, if that makes any sense.
No, they
It,
don't. I really try writing them as standalone comics and then kind of sprinkle something extra in, and people seem to like that. They like after the MCU and all that, and now the DCU, people like a little connection, a little cameo, a little, and it's very organic and natural with my stuff.
so I want to dive into that a little bit because I think that there is an issue in comics where everybody is creating a shared universe at this point,
Yeah,
whether you're big or small. And there is an advantage to creating a shared universe because you could have a cosmetic event, for lack of a better word here, where
yeah,
all hell breaks out and you
yeah,
get all the good guys versus all the bad guys, and it's a fight to the death, right? And
right,
that's great
yeah,
in that regard
yeah.
because
I'm just about to that point with. I was going to end Vampires on issue 12, and I'm up to issue 9, actually issue 10, where I bring in everybody. They finally all come together, end game style, to battle whoever.
because then you also get to the point where then you have an event and then everything could shoot out of that event
Right,
and people die or
right,
people don't want to be heroes or whatever you want, or your heroes retire or your characters and you say I don't want to be
hmm,
part of this, and then you could launch something else. And so but at the
yeah,
same time, you also want to have a position where you want to introduce these characters. So like for instance in which is a Westchester, like we now know these characters after 3 issues, and is it I think it's like 60 pages, right, give or take.
yeah, yep,
So like because I think that that's what makes this interesting, right, because there's the payoff that has to occur.
yeah, yeah. I always think, in the '80s we always had trilogies, so I kind of write, the first issue, second, and third issue as a kind of trilogy that fits together, that is amping up the action or the storyline intensity as you go on, so that the third issue is, freaks you out or blows your mind or whatever you want to call it. And then that makes a good graphic novel when I put them all together.
And then obviously, I mean, there's something going to happen in this issue. I mean, there's going to
Yeah,
be a conflict in this issue, and something's going to happen with these girls, and that's going
yeah,
to probably lead into vampires to some
yeah.
degree. But I don't want to ruin too much of that. But I do want to dive into, I guess, some more technical stuff here because you did launch it where I think it's a floppy, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right, right. Yeah,
So these are the floppies, and there's the collectible side to all the stuff you do. But then it's also a graphic novel to some degree. I think you launched it as volume 1, where the whole volume is now done.
yeah.
And what is that like? Because I think there is something to be said where it's not a graphic novel, where it's not 3 collected issues, but you
Mhm.
can get the whole volume done at this point. I don't know if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, yeah. I usually try and throw in extra stuff to beef it up a little bit. Additional art, additional covers, a little more storyline. But I went to graphic novels because after I started selling out floppies in comic stores, they were like, well, it would help everybody if you could put the graphic novels, put the issues together and make a graphic novel. People can get into your stores quicker. So really, it was just from feedback from the actual local comic store owners were telling me do a graphic novel. So I've always been lucky like that. I get good feedback from either fans or the actual stores, because when you're in somebody's store, you're a partner with them. I mean, they wouldn't even put you in the store if they didn't feel your comic was going to sell. And then when it does, that just strengthens the bond between you and the store. I've been lucky in that respect too.
So I want to tail that for a second here because I do want to touch upon the graphic novel side of this because I think it's
Mhm.
really interesting, right? Because I don't know if you're experiencing this debate, but I like to binge content, right?
Right,
And I also like to get my content at a relatively affordable rate.
right.
So like I don't want to be waiting 2 years for a whole series to be done,
Yeah,
spend $120
yeah,
versus I can spend 25 for the graphic novel. And
right.
if I have to wait, 18 months, 2 years, I want
Yeah,
to read the whole thing at once. I want
yeah,
to enjoy the whole thing at once. I don't want to be bankrupted in the process, because it's a real issue. I mean, it's a lot. I think it's a lot to ask somebody $15, $20 a pop
Yeah.
for a cover, and you have 3 issues. That's $60. I mean, you
Yeah.
could go to the comic shop and you could buy a lot of Marvel books. I mean, even at $15, that's 3 Batmans.
All right.
And I mean that's 60 pages versus
Yeah.
8 pages.
Yep.
And then it's also the idea that I don't know if you're going to do issue 3 of this book. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm talking as a consumer. I'm not even talking as a
Yeah.
reader.
That's really the problem with indie creators, because the stores would tell me, you do one issue and it's great, and then people get hooked and then you disappear. That's their biggest fear. So they like the fact that I was trying to be consistent, with the storyline, and doing, especially after I started doing Kickstarter, it made it easier to put out more issues. The graphic novels are good for creators if you can get to that point, because then your margins aren't as thin as they are with floppies. So,
Yeah, let's talk about the graphic novel stuff as well, because there's also the other thing with the graphic novels is that the art is done.
Right.
So really, with a graphic novel, I think your only expenditure, for the most part, is printing it.
Right.
And in theory, every time you print your book or reprint your book in some format, the cost of the art actually goes down per page. Technically, I mean, it's complicated to actually calculate that whole thing. I don't feel like going through. If I had a whiteboard, I'd be Kenny Smithing at this whole thing. And we can all go home now.
Right.
No, just, and if you don't know who Kenny Smith is, I'm sorry. Maybe everybody should go watch some basketball. But anyway, not the point here. But I think that's where graphic novels become interesting, is because the only thing it is it's printing. I also, and I'm curious how you feel about this, is that I feel the optic of a graphic novel is different as well, where it's done or it's a chunk of your story. So if you're doing 12 issues and you have 6 in a graphic novel, you're handing somebody a substantial amount. And I feel there's a different element of trust. There's a different element of saying, here's 6 issues and I'm not running away, and you don't know if I'm going to be back here in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. And I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know how they trade in stores, but I think there's a different optic at a convention. I think there's a different optic how you're just looked at collectively in the industry as well. And I don't know how you feel about that. That's just how I view it, is that I view somebody who has a graphic novel differently than somebody who has a first issue of a floppy.
Yeah. It's a different level of interest, different level of investment. It's heavier. It's a deeper dive for people, and they like it. I mean, they really do. The graphic novels that I've done really pop. And once you get them into it, then they want more. So that's helpful. I mean, with this one, I'll have 6 graphic novels. So that'll be nice. When I do a convention or at my table, I'll have a wide variety, as opposed to, having to carry around 19 floppies.
Did you also feel, sorry to go off, do you also feel that at a certain point, after you printed a bunch of graphic novels, you're not going to reprint an issue 1 of something?
Yeah, I've gotten that way with vampires for the most part. I might do another printing of some of the floppies, but I'm almost done, like all of my floppies for vampires, because I have nine issues of that, and then I had leftover from the Kickstarter, so I have, some extras floating around. But I prefer graphic novels. I really do.
So I find it so interesting, right? Because I sell raw books, right? And I like selling collectibles because the margins are good for me, and I like making money on this. But at the same time, I also don't want somebody to just be running 10,000 copies of their issue 1, right? It defeats the purpose of collecting. At least I think it does, right? And I don't think you run 10,000 copies of your book. And I think if you have a limited cover, I think you do limit that. But even still, if you're running 500 copies, it's a lot of books.
Oh, yeah. It's a ton.
And so, like, I like when there gets a point where, like, great, there's a finite amount of these books out there now, and great, now we don't have to, go, now I know for a fact that there's only so many books, and you're not reprinting issue 1.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
know with Bunny Goes to Space, with Shikari as an artist, I made a conscious effort not to print a lot of them, and I think they're going for about $200 on eBay now. So it's there's not a lot of them out there, and people really love them. So I like that. For that comic, for that issue, that's great. You
so let me ask this, because my understanding, and this is just my view on it, I'm curious your view on it, is
know?
that I believe there is a relationship where, I mean, it's not a law, but I believe that it's unspoken, that the idea is that you want to, as a creator, you want to have limitations on what you print, and
Yeah,
you want books to go up in value. I would imagine every creator wants a book to go up in value, and
yeah,
not
it's
every,
nice. You can't really plan on it though. It kind of just happened. You know what I mean?
but
I
but but
like I like all the comics. I like what I do, but I'm not paying $200 for issue one of Bunny Goes to Space. But some people are, and that's if that's what they want to do, resell them for that. That's fine.
And then what I'm getting at is that it's always good, I think, when your book goes up in value
Oh
and it's
yeah,
limited,
yeah,
because the idea is that if I backed your project, right,
mhm,
and then the book goes up in value, the idea is that I feel that I made a good purchase. My purchase went up in value, whether I sell it, I don't sell it. And even though you're not seeing the money
right,
that if I sell it for,
right,
me as a customer, I feel better that I have something that went up in value versus going down in value.
right.
Because it
Sure.
doesn't mean, and it has nothing to do with how it's written, by the way. That just because something
Not
goes,
really. No, yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of things go just on pure. They like the art, the cover. You know, which which is fine. It's whatever you like about it. Good for you.
because I feel, and then I guess my position is that I feel that you have to do everything in your power to at least attempt to try to make your book go up in value. If
Yeah,
you're on Kickstarter in the collectible space, that doesn't
yeah.
mean everything's going to work, but
No,
you can't, if you print 20,000 copies of Shikari, you're purposely making the book go down in value if
yeah,
you
yeah.
do it that way. But if
Yep.
you only print 100, or you print 200 because that's what you needed to do to break even, then
Yeah,
there's only 200 that you're at least attempting to try to protect the value of the book.
yeah,
I don't know if that makes any sense. I feel that as a creator, every creator owes that to their backers to a
yeah,
degree.
yeah, yeah. It's a Kickstarter is for collectors. They're limited editions, and they should be special. You know.
I don't think every creator does that. I don't, and I
Well, they
think
should. That's how I look at it. So I never, usually I'll do the printing for the fulfillment, and maybe I'll have a few extras. I'll print a little extra for the artist, so they get like 10 copies of each of the work that they did, just so they have it, and then that's it. I don't usually go back and try and recreate anything. I want to work on something new and different, you know, and it should stay special, you know.
so. Again, that's what I think. But I do want to circle back now to the comic store thing, because I think that that's really interesting.
Right.
Is that because retail is a bitch. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I will call it like it is. It
Yeah.
is difficult. I sell on eBay. It is so brutal,
Yeah.
eBay, and it is so difficult. And so I mean, and then when you're going into somebody's store,
Yeah.
that's a whole different ballgame too. Because I mean, on eBay, for those who don't know, I pay 13% in fees to eBay,
Wow.
and a store might not be paying 13%, but they're paying rent, they're paying electricity, they're
Yeah.
paying, something for floor space. If you have a comic shop that is, 800 square feet, every square foot it has a dollar amount that it earns.
Yep.
And I mean, you got to make sure, like, because you said that you're partnering up with them when they
We're,
pick up
we're,
your book.
we're in it together, you know. They if they're going to present my product, I want them to present it the best way and put it in the best spot so we can sell as many as possible. So, I appreciate all the stores I've sold out in. Um, Sold out in about 25 stores. Jay and Silent Bob's, I've sold out 9 times. Um, Signings I like doing. Um, they're a lot of fun in the store. They're a lot of fun.
So again, because the reason why I bring this up is that I
Mhm.
think that a lot of people in comics, especially on Kickstarter, do not understand that. Like, I don't know what your retail position looks like, but it's like I need 50% off at the minimum
Yeah.
because there is no money for me in anything else. It is just brutal, and it's just like I can't explain. Like once I go through my numbers, I
Mhm.
mean, if you wholesale me, if your MSRP is 15 for the book, right?
Right.
I mean, first and foremost, I gotta hope that the book is gonna sell for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And at 750, I mean, if I'm paying 13%, I gotta go buy a Gemini. Shipping is difficult. I
Right.
mean, like we're talking about me making $2 on the book
Yeah.
if I sell for 15. Like
Yep.
it's not that I'm making $7.50, and neither is the comic shop. And
Yep.
so, like, again, it's so difficult. And this is why I don't pick up indie books anymore for my
Mhm.
eBay store because there's just not enough meat on the bone for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gotten just in the 5 years that I've been doing comics, 5 or 6 years, it's gotten tighter and tighter and tighter. So, it's tough.
Oh, it's miserable. It's just absolutely miserable, and it's so terrible. It's like I like reading books. It's just so terrible, and
Mm.
and it's not easy. But I do want to go further into this because obviously when you go to a graphic novel, I would imagine that the margins go up
Yeah.
to a degree.
Yeah.
And,
We're better.
And so, like, but also that's a whole different thing. But I also imagine for a comic shop, it also might be easier for them to move a graphic novel because the story's done.
Right.
First thing, like they're not taking a risk on that. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm just curious how you view the whole thing and what you feel on this because again, I don't know because I'm not in this space of creating something.
Yeah. Well, they prefer the graphic novels. Um, the stores I'm still in are kind of stores that are friendly to me, and I'll do Free Comic Book Day, Ron's Comics in Mount Holly, New Jersey, and Final Boss in Lawrenceville. They have me in pretty often, so that's pretty much the stores I'm in as of today. The other stores, they want more product, but I'm not Marvel and DC. I can't crank out things as quick as people would like them every Wednesday, you know. But yeah, graphic novels move for them, so they like them.
No, again, I find it so interesting, right? I find the whole thing so interesting, and I find the entire space to be fascinating in
Mm,
that regard. And then obviously, I mean, just to go further into all this thing,
right.
with this is that obviously, I mean, the whole comic industry right now is upside down
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't know. I'll ask you a question. So I don't know the current state of Kickstarter. I don't know if it's oversaturated. I
Oh
don't know.
yeah, it's way oversaturated.
Okay,
One of
okay.
the it's one of the reasons I stopped doing it. But I've always been able to one pay the artists through my crowdfunding, and then pay for printing through my crowdfunding at the bare minimum. So I've done very well for some of the Kickstarters. I think I did 37.5 with Bunny in 21 days. So I've had some outliers that did very well, but if you go just the basic level, I've always been able to use it to create more comics, which is the key, so that when you do go out and do shows or when you have events like I have, you have new product for people because people want new stuff.
So let's actually talk about this because I'm curious how you feel about this.
Mhm.
I feel that Kickstarter has not become what it was intended to become,
No,
which
and
is which.
things never do. Facebook was supposed to bring people together. What's it done? It's torn people apart. So, yeah, anything social media related starts out with good intentions and turns into, I always call it the pretty hate machine, Trent Reznor's first album. That's what I call Facebook because that's what it's turned into a lot of the time. Now, it does have groups, which, you go find a group you like, Speed Racer. So you go find the Speed Racer group, which I watch all the time. I was going to watch them tonight. There's a weird channel on my Roku that 24 hours a day they're playing Speed Racer. I'm like, is anybody watching this besides me? That's another one where you're like, how are they on the air if it's just me watching? But we've become such a segmented entertainment society because of all the streaming and all these media sources. You can enjoy just one thing that you think nobody else is enjoying, you know. But yeah, Kickstarter. I mean, and there's a lot of other things, you know, like if you and I created a backpack that did like 100 different things, we could take it to Kickstarter and raise money for that. So it does a lot of different things, you know, which is interesting.
Because the reason why I bring this up is that, I mean, I have a very, very, very negative, very, I'm trying to think of the word. Shoot, I can't think of the word. And it's gonna kill you after this interview. I'm gonna know contrary, negative, very not concise, but contrarian, I guess maybe is the word.
Yeah,
and I am so sick of people asking me for money on everything, including Kickstarter. I'm so sick.
Yeah.
And I mean, it also doesn't help that right now I'm on somewhat of a fixed income, but I am so
everybody's at a spot right now. You know what I mean? Where it's like, should I even spend any money? What's going to happen next? You know what I mean? So yeah, don't feel you're alone in that boat.
So the way I feel is that I am fully aware, but I'm so tired of people asking me for money. I'm so tired of on everything, not just Kickstarter, but everything.
Yeah.
Just today alone, I've gotten like 9 charities asking me for money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want it. Everybody is trying to tap my well. And I'm like, I'm out of money, guys. I'm genuinely out of money. Like,
well, turn it off. You know, don't shut it out.
But like, I feel it's oversaturated. I feel more people are doing more projects for a variety of reasons. I feel, nothing against Zenescope or Dynamite. I have no personal problems with either of those companies, but they're running campaigns like every other week.
They've hoarded out kind of. I mean, there's no reason to do that. I mean, when I first got, a lot of speed on the platform, I was like, maybe I could do this every month. Then I was like, well, if I do it every month, it's not special. If you do it all the time, it's not special. So I was like, maybe 3 times a year.
I have a different opinion completely. I think you can kill your backer and kill those. So I like to use the cow analogy, right?
Yeah.
You buy a cow. There are 2 ways to make your money with your cow, right?
Yeah.
You could go kill your cow.
Yeah.
You could feed it some grass for a year, and then you could go kill your cow and sell the beef. And you bought your cow for $100, and now you sold it for $140. But you no longer have a cow. Yep. Your cow's dead, right? Your beautiful little cow, it's dead. Okay.
Yeah,
that you made $40, but guess what? You gotta go get a new cow. It's $120 to get a new cow, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Or you can milk your cow every other day, sell the milk for $1 or sell it for 50 cents, and you can get your money over the next 10 years. And you sell your cow. Right. So like, this is my whole position with that. And so I feel that if you run a Kickstarter every month, you're going to kill your backer. You're going to kill your backer.
Yeah, there's no reason to do that.
The reason why they're doing it, Zenescope and Dynamite, is that they got heavily screwed out of Diamond.
Oh yeah.
So Diamond. I
understand. What a nightmare.
I don't even know how that fucking hell that happened. I don't even know how the hell that fucking happened. So, I still don't get it, right? I don't even get how that happened and nobody caught it. I don't understand how it happened. Nobody's been able to explain to me how. I know the problem, right? And I know the basic idea, but I don't know the technicals, and I'm very curious on the technicals exactly what happened. But I get a lot of people have been screwed out of money there.
Oh yeah. Well, running a monopoly is not easy, and it's incredibly demanding. And then, you push everything to the margins. You push your relationships, you push your suppliers, you push your distributor. You're constantly pushing everything to the above 10, to the 11. And how long can the system take that? It can't. So.
But my point is that when you're Dynamite or Zenescope and you have fans who love your work and want to buy your work, but you're running so many campaigns, I'm like, I can buy one, and then you run one every 3 weeks, and I'm like, I'm a Zenescope guy, and I'm like, I'm out of money, guys. I'm out of money.
Well, you got to be sensible. I've had people who bought like I used to have really big rewards, like, $500 for this, whatever, and you get a bunch of stuff, you get good stuff, but still. And then I would have people who would do that. And then, they'd email me towards the end of the campaign. Oh, my, my car note's due, or, I got a family. And I'm like, dude, just put your priorities in order. It's okay. Cancel. I'd rather you cancel and you pay your mortgage for your family than, you know what I mean? And I'll be around. I mean, you can PayPal me later and get this stuff. You know what I mean? So, but I'm not bloodthirsty, and most of, Kickstarter is. So, that's how they roll. I mean, they see it as a regular part of their business model, and they rely on it more and more. I like a more varied approach where I have different avenues, sources of income, instead of just milking that cow or killing that cow. It doesn't matter what the cow is. You know what I mean?
Interesting. I long comics and I long cards.
Mm-hmm.
Very rare that I mean, I buy things and I try to flip them quick, but there's a bunch of cards that I'm longing indefinitely for a long time.
Right.
The fastest, most expensive card I sold, 23 minutes a G.
Wow.
And I cried when I sold it, and it will never be seen ever again.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's gonna be about 20 years before it pops up.
Yeah.
And the second it pops up on the market, I might spend $5,000 to buy it back.
Wow.
I mean, I held it and I cried when I sold it, but I was happy.
That's tough.
Happy, but I cried. I mean, it's a beautiful card, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Diana Taurasi's Autograph 101 retirement card. The White Mamba. Oh my God, just a beautiful card. If she would have, I reached out to her. I said, "Do you want the card?" And she didn't get back to me. I would have sold her the card for a little bit of money. Like it was a $300 card. I would have sold her for $500. But I wound up selling for a G. But not the point. But again, the people. But a lot of it is longing it, because my eBay business is predicated that the most amount of sales that I make are $8 sales.
Right.
I sell more $8 items than I sell $1,500 items.
That's your price point. Yeah.
It's great. It's absolutely wonderful, because I buy it for $4 and I'm cheaper and more effective than but it's killer, right? On an $8 card, I make 75 cents in profit. It is brutal. It is the definition of brutality. But again, I find it so interesting, right? Because I don't want to be tapped anymore. Like, I'm so tired of spending money. I'm so exhausted.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
It's like a chore for me, and I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be bothered. Like it's just terrible. And I don't know how you feel, but I also feel that a lot of books are average.
Yeah. Well, you want to do something spectacular. You don't want if you're going to spend the money or you're going to sell something, you want it to stand out, not be ordinary. And I don't buy a lot of other people's stuff anymore, besides maybe the artists that I know. But I try and do something different every time I create something to make it, unique.
I'll ask you this, right? What is the characteristics? And it's okay if you don't want to answer the question. You could just plead the fifth on it, right?
Okay.
So what makes you say, "Hey, I want to back this project," right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I do like some beautiful art. I like a nice story arc. I don't know. I like a lot of different types of stories. I like crime noir. I like sci-fi. But you when something's derivative of something else because you've looked at a lot of things. So you want something that, even if it is derivative, to have kind of a original twist to it that makes you go, I wonder where that goes. And that'll attract me,
So for me, what makes me stop is that I want to get something that has got a crazy twist to it.
Right.
So one of my favorite books is Bang Tango. Bang Tango's premise is the following: is a guy was working for the mob. He fucked up, a bunch of people got killed, right? And then he goes to Los Angeles, and the mob is after him. And
Right.
he used to date a transsexual girlfriend.
Right.
And let's just say that a lot of people are playing a lot of people. Who's playing who.
Right.
So you don't know if the guy who's now has another woman, if she's playing her boyfriend. You don't know
Right.
if this transsexual girl's playing them. You don't know if she's
Right.
playing the mob. You know if they're
Yeah.
all playing the mob. And
Right.
now it's a final showdown between everybody, and you have no idea who's playing who, and
Yeah.
it's great, and
Yeah.
it's
That is cool.
art, and it's complete
Keeps you
mind.
guessing. Yeah.
What did you say?
That sounds exciting because you're not sure exactly what's going to happen.
And it's one of the only books by this famous painter who did it. Adrian Sabar and Joe Kelly wrote it. So you had Adrian Sabar, the artist, and Joe Kelly, the writer, and this was maybe 1993, maybe 96. But the book was buried for like 20 years because it was forgotten on Vertigo, and then the book was republished, and I'm like, dude, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's like Snatch and Steel, and great book because it's just like a mind fuck.
Yeah.
But you don't know who's playing who, and I'm not going to go any further because I don't. I mean, right now, somebody's going to be like, "Oh man, I want to read Bang Tango."
Yeah, yeah, that sounds interesting.
Because and it's 5 issues, right? So it's like a $15 graphic novel, right?
Right, and you're in and you're out, but it's the whole ride is cool.
And there's one scene in it where it's like a spread page, and they're dancing. The boyfriend and his transsexual girlfriend are dancing, right? Yeah. And the musical notes are surrounding them in it. And it's just such a cool art scene. And that doesn't, like, it has nothing to do with it, but like, you're like,
right. The design is eye-catching and inspiring.
We're now there, and you go and you look up and you take the notes. It's an actual song. You get the whole vibe. Brilliant. But like, that's what makes me stop, is when you have something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But like, again, most people's books, it's just whatever. But I digress. I don't want to get us in trouble too much on this, because people are going to be like, "Oh man, these people don't back books and they're criticizing people's books now." So I don't want to do that. But trust me, if I wanted to criticize people's books, I would have a lot of attention. I would have no friends in this industry.
Well, yeah.
But I digress with that. But I do want to dive further into this because I think this is really interesting, because obviously getting attention on Kickstarter and for your books is so complicated too. Yeah. And I don't know even how that looks, because in the podcasting world, it is brutal. And there was a guy because I saw a lot of cards, and what he was explaining is that you have to have really good pricing on eBay. You have to have clean photos, and you have to have great titles. And I think we could translate some of that to comics right now, where you need to have awesome artwork. You need to have a good story. You need to have a good title. You need to have clean pictures of your stuff. And then also, I think you just need to be in the right place at the right time, because
it helps.
Unfortunately, I mean, I'll say it, and I'm going to get in trouble, but tits and ass sell things. TNA
on Kickstarter for comics,
and sometimes that's what you got to do to get your book, because you need to get funding, and then everything else also matters.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give people what they like. So when I'm in stores, I have a cover for stores, and then I have a cover for Kickstarter. So wherever I need to, change a few things to fit, I do. And there's covers for Kickstarter, like we've been saying, that's special to Kickstarter, and they're limited editions, and that's good for that. And then I always have a different cover for when I put it in a local comic store or I sell it at a convention.
Do you feel that, because I mean, and this question is still in the works, but I'm gonna try to get it out the best way I could get it, because I'm thinking about it, is that because on Kickstarter you're almost raising money, right? And you need to raise as much money as you possibly can raise. And I don't even know if it matters what you're selling or your book or the story, because I think that's the creation side. And this is what makes Kickstarter so interesting, at least in my opinion, is that you have this weird combination of creating comics and creating products and delivering cool stuff to people, or attempting to deliver cool stuff to people, but you also are trying to raise as much money as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And those two things don't work. They don't work together for the most part. Because
it's rare that they would fit perfectly. Yeah.
Because it's the right and the left side of the brain. It's exactly that. So again, I'm not asking the question the right way here, or I'm getting the point out. But
me personally, I'm pretty happy if I, like I said, can raise enough to pay for the artist and print the book, because that's really my end goal. It's not to retire from Kickstarter, But some people, when you do big figures, then it turns into, you need a warehouse and all this other stuff. And I haven't done those kinds of figures yet. I think my average is like 10 to 12, which is nice. But, if I can, like I said, take care of expenses and then get a new product out of it, I'm pretty happy.
I use the analogy, right? Once you cross $20,000, I think what it becomes is that it's kind of like if you have a small dog, your dog has small problems.
Right.
If you have a big dog, your dog has big problems.
Well, yeah. Bunny was a lot of work, and I haven't done much of a follow-up because I lost my artists that I work with to create it. So I kind of had to there's a certain magic when you hit almost $40,000 in 21 days on Kickstarter. So it's like I wanted to recreate that magic, but then I lost Shikari works for Comics Elite now, Elite or Light or whatever.
He's not exclusive anymore.
Yeah. It's hard to rebuild that Frankenstein monster. But my stories are the same because I wrote 2 issues right after I wrote issue 1. So I already wrote the graphic novel for Bunny. I just haven't been able to get back to it. But I want to get back to it this year because it's a very popular comic.
Because my point is that if I was to do a comic book and then I raised $1 million, I would never ever have to raise money ever again.
No. If you had one, but how are you going to do that? There are guys who do that, and they throw in politics or they throw in something else, and maybe that's organic to them, but I couldn't create anything that way. You know what I'm saying? There are ways to do that.
The reason why I bring it up is that I'm wondering if this is all a shell game, right? Because I think
it is.
This is where it becomes so interesting, is that because again, I want to raise a lot of money and never have to raise money ever again, right? And that's the theory behind what I'm trying to accomplish, right? And I think there is something to be said about all of that, where it's kind of like, because the more money you raise, the further you go. It's like putting gas in your car. If you have a full tank of gas, you're miles.
It's a rocket. Right.
So again, I just think it's so complicated, because if I'll give you an example. If I had 40K for this show, this show would run so differently, right? Every day there'd be like 7 interviews, right? And I'd have a staff, and I would be able to like actually enjoy drinking a beer on a Saturday. It'd be nice and peaceful, and I'd be able to sleep like a baby every once in a while. I'd be able to read a book. Okay. I don't think people understand how much work goes into this. It's a lot more than people realize. Hey, the YouTube community, Friday is going to be a fun day, everybody. That did not schedule itself. Okay. Friday's like a national holiday for me. It's like the greatest holiday ever. It's Pokemon Day. So, it's great. McDonald's, Pokemon's back. It's great, guys. Hey, Pikachu never got a DWI. So the last time I saw Pikachu getting a DWI was never. So,
Oh man.
There was a baseball player who made that joke, and I thought it was a very funny joke, right?
Yeah.
But I digress right there. But the point is that, again.
You can't come up with something that will fit. But the thing about Kickstarter is it's that algorithm that keeps moving. So you look at something that made $1 million on Kickstarter 5 years ago. You still there? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm still here. Sorry.
you look at something that made $1 million 5 years ago, and you couldn't do that again. It almost was like catching lightning in a bottle. So you kind of have to come up, like AI is big right now. So if you come up with something AI related that catches that thing, you could do that, $1 million and then whatever.
Did you also feel, and this is my question, is that so we look at Brandon Sanderson. He
Mhm.
did that one of the biggest campaigns, millions of dollars on
Right.
Kickstarter.
Right.
I think it was hyperbolic, right? I really
Yeah.
think it was hyperbolic because
Sure.
he didn't just do $50 million out of nowhere. He
Yeah.
was writing, and working on. He finished The Eye of the World with Jordan Roberts. He
Right.
finished that. He's been a writer for a long time. It was
Right.
very orchestrated, those campaigns, right?
Mhm.
And I think everybody says, "Oh man, this was amazing. This is great. This changed the Kickstarter." I'm like, no, guys. This had nothing to do with that. This is somebody who's been around forever,
Oh
and,
yeah.
and this was not organic. This was very orchestrated, and
Yeah.
and it's the same thing with Eric July to some
Yep.
degree. And,
Yep.
and for those who don't know, he created a funnel, right? He created a
Mhm.
funnel. That's all he did is he
Yeah.
created a funnel and he filled his funnel up.
Yeah.
Um, it,
There's
it,
a there's a logical, organized business way of doing things that gets you certain results, and they definitely knew what they were doing, and they've done it before, and they know how to expand upon it. So
I think it's a little bit different when somebody does something and they did not plan it, and there's been a few of those every once in a while that
yeah.
have done that. And
Mhm.
so. But again, I think that there's misconceptions. I mean, we look at what just happened with Pokemon with Logan Paul. He
Right.
sold his Pikachu illustrated card for 16.25 million.
Yeah.
Now, he bought the card for 5 million, but
Mhm.
he sold the card and it created this artificial bubble of Pokemon cards.
Right.
And but that bubble's going to deflate a little bit in a
Yeah.
few weeks or maybe in a month or two, right?
Right.
Doesn't mean the card isn't cool. It just means
No.
the bubble's going to deflate.
Right.
But the point I'm making, and I think this is very relevant, is that I
Mhm.
understand that the bubble, there's artificialness in this, and you could taste the artificialness. Is my point.
Right.
But
Yeah, that's true.
but again, I mean, this is why you need to have good stories because there's only so many titties you could show me that. And no offense, but I mean,
Yeah.
I can look at the real thing a lot.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
life. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't need to sound like fucked up when I say it, but like,
No, you're telling it like it is, man. I mean, there's got to be more to it than just that for it to mean anything. So that's true. You know.
because I have Bunny went to space. I have the Shikari covers that I bought from you.
Oh, okay.
Well, I still have those. I
Yeah.
still have them. I don't know where they are, but
Yeah.
I'm near my house.
They're around.
I don't know which long box they're in. I got like
Yeah.
20 long boxes.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that I couldn't locate them on
No,
my.
it's okay. Thanks. It's much appreciated, man.
No. They were a little pricey, but
Yeah.
I think they were worth it. I was happy to buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't cheap. I don't want to. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't remember what they cost, but they weren't cheap. They
Yeah.
weren't like super expensive. It wasn't $200. I can tell you
Yeah.
that.
Well, that's the thing. When I see them like that, I'm like, what the heck's going on there? I don't even know what's happening, but that's how things go.
I
It's
like
interesting.
Shikari's artwork. I like some of his artwork, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the bottomless covers. They don't do it for me.
Yeah.
They kind of disturb me. Like I don't
Well,
get. I don't
yeah,
get.
Shikari puts a lot into those covers. I mean, we've spent hours discussing where, like a freckle should go.
I'm
It's a lot.
fine with that.
Or
I'm fine with
how much hair should be here, or you know what I mean? It's a
I
lot.
have a problem when we're showing like the I don't have a problem with topless covers, right?
Yeah.
I just don't get when we're showing full frontal.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
and-
you
and-
know,
I don't
what
get.
some
I
people
don't
like,
get
I don't know what to tell you.
it's like I'd rather have the real thing and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
But
You got to weigh the two and figure out, where you want to spend your hard-earned cash.
I mean,
Yeah, and then my covers, but with faces by Rachie, she did a topless cover for me
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that either. You know,
You know?
but eBay has a problem with that. Apparently, eBay thinks that's porn.
Well, a lot of the companies are being taken over by more conservative individuals that are, calling
So
things out, whether or
also,
not you can,
part of
art
the
or
issue.
porn. I mean, which is,
So it also gets complicated because there's actually a debate with credit card companies. I don't know if you knew
right.
this,
Well,
but like
sorry.
mini vids,
Yeah.
they are get charged more by a credit card company than eBay charges a credit card company. I don't know if you
Wow.
knew that.
No, I don't.
So
I didn't.
so that there are companies that say we don't want to do this. There are
Yeah.
companies that have real ethical questions.
Yeah.
I'll give you a real ethical question. I mean, Kim Possible. Everybody knows who Kim Possible is. You know,
Yeah.
topless Kim Possible. I
Right.
don't know how we should feel about that in the art community. She's 16, 17, and
Yeah. When it's a juvenile character, I don't. I think you should stay away from that.
but there are
I
people
know
who
I
are
saw a lot of stuff when Wednesday came out, and I thought, well, she's a kid, so you know what I mean.
it gets really, really complicated. And I can understand eBay not being a fan of that. I can understand PayPal not being happy with that. I can understand
Yeah.
Shopify saying, like, this is a little weird. Like I get that these aren't real characters.
Well,
And
that's the
there's
other thing. Yeah.
but it's complicated. And this is the Ashcroft case. For those who don't know, it's actually a very interesting Supreme Court case where the
Yeah.
issue is that Stewie Griffin does not have standing in court.
Right.
So Stewie Griffin cannot sue Andrew Davis
Right.
because he doesn't exist.
Right.
But you're still doing something that isn't good. I don't know. Like if Stewie has his thing out on a comic cover, I'm
Yeah.
not too sure if that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. What's the point?
but that again, it's so complicated. But I want to back out of that because obviously there's other stuff too
Right.
that you're doing and all sorts of stuff. So obviously, I mean, you know, you seem to have your business down packed though, because your objective, because correct me if I'm wrong, is that Kickstarter for you is just to kickstart the project, and it's the
Yeah,
first level
pretty
of
much.
distribution, right?
Yeah, it's gotten so crazy on there that I had to weigh, should I just go back to when I started and just print it out myself, or would Kickstarter numbers make sense? So this is kind of in a way an experiment, you know, to see if it still works the way it used to work. But like you said, it's oversaturated. So we'll see.
So why do you think it's oversaturated? Because I mean,
Well, I do know people that do. I mean, I see in some of the chats people that do one every month, and it's like I don't even know how you do that. But they're not doing it on a big scale. I think they're just doing it on a low basic scale. They're probably artists. They can crank out their own product pretty easy. You know, if you're an artist, you can do your own covers and interiors. And maybe you don't do that big of a comic, you know. But
I mean,
to me, it's supposed to assist what you do. It shouldn't be all of what you do.
there's a company, right, in which that they said their book was supposed to be in my hands last May. They're now beginning to ship out their book, and they're running. I think they did like 60, 65 projects last year.
Yeah,
And I'm like, where the fuck's my book?
yeah, yeah.
Where
Yeah,
the fuck's my book?
you can focus on cranking things out rather than actually,
Now,
doing what you say you're going to do.
I'm guilty of this, and I'll tell you how I'm guilty of this in a different way, right?
Yeah,
I like to stack up a bunch of orders, right? So
yeah,
I have 45 orders that have to go out.
right,
So I like to stack them up. So let's say I only have 12 one week. I might
right,
punt it till the next week when I have 30 because
right,
it's more time effective for me to pump out 30 orders on my eBay store than to do 12 at a time.
right.
Because also what happens is that somebody orders 20 different people order one of 20 different card of the same card. So I can
Yeah.
just stack it up and,
Yep.
and they're already pre-packed.
Yeah.
Because the company that sends them to me pre-packs them. So I just have
Well,
to
that's
put them in
good.
a label. So but for me to do like 3 at a time as they
Mhm.
come in and go out, it makes no sense.
Right.
Right. I've done the math. I actually save money and I'm willing to actually give like 25 cents shipping because it saves me more money in time.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm guilty, but I'm not looking a year out. I'm looking 2 weeks out, right? Like I think there's a big difference between those two. But like, I'm looking at this company, I'm like, you raised, $4,500, and my book was supposed to be in my hands in May. Where the fuck's my book? I think it's a valid question.
Yeah, it's pretty outrageous. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, if they're doing that many other things, it's hard to focus on you.
And so I just stopped backing.
And you're not the only one, I'm sure.
I don't know. I don't know in which that, is, I'm not going to say what company it is, but it's not hard to figure out what company it is. I mean, it's not a secret. I just don't know your relationship. That's why I'm not stating certain things, but I'm also saying to myself, like, this is my issue is that I understand being a month late, right? I understand being 2 months late. I understand 3 months late, but the problem here, and I don't know if you knew this, with credit card disputes, you only have like 90 days.
Right.
So once we get past the 90-day mark, in theory, nobody on Kickstarter has to deliver their project.
Yeah, I know.
There is no recourse.
I know.
I actually want to get legislation.
Keeps going, man.
What? What'd you say?
I said, it keeps going.
I want to get consumer protection legislation passed on Kickstarter. I really do.
Needed. Yeah, that's definitely needed.
I think
I would not disagree. I'm trying to remember what comic I got that I never got. White Widow, maybe.
Oh, Jamie Tyndall, White Widow.
Yeah, from like when I first started doing Kickstarter, so that probably would have been 2020 or 2021. I never got that comic. I think I saw it in Walmart or something. You know what I mean? Because they cut a deal with Walmart right around the time I was supposed to get my comic, and I never got it, but I think I saw it there.
I interviewed Jamie Tyndall once, and I like Jamie, but I'm not, I have nothing good or bad to say about Jamie Tyndall.
Yeah.
I will say this: I think he's overpriced. I think he's severely overpriced. I don't think he's a $1,200 cover artist. I don't. And my opinion, and I don't think with the introduction of AI that his rate should go up, it should go down. I have a very different opinion on AI than everybody else does. For a variety of reasons. I think AI is the ultimate competitor, and I like competition because competition reduces pricing, and it makes people become uncomfortable, which means they have to become more creative. When somebody comes into my space and wants to kick my ass, I have to say, fuck, either I'm going to leave the space or I'm going to punch back.
Yeah, that's true.
And nobody wants to have this AI discussion. There's an AI model. Jill Exo, she has 1.4 million Instagram followers, and she makes 5 to 10 million a year, and she's not real.
Yeah. Well, it's whatever the market can bear. If that's what people like, that's what they like. That's just the way things are.
But again. But you mentioned printing and shipping, and I'm curious how you feel about that, because those things kill me. Not the printing, but the shipping kills me.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I use Pirate Ship. They're pretty good most of the time. You add the cost to your product, and you hope that people still buy the product. I mean, you got to include it. You can't get around shipping. And I think most people understand the situation, so it's not, too offensive to people when you add it to the product. But,
so let me ask you this, because I'm curious. Do you add the shipping? Is it built into what you sell it for, or do you calculate the shipping on the back?
I set a price, and then I set a price for shipping. But depending on what they buy and how much and where I ship, it's going to vary. But I make sure I include enough, space so that I don't get killed on the shipping, because eventually you're going to get something that doesn't fit your idea of what shipping should be, and I found that out when I sold a few comics in Australia on my second Kickstarter. And it was like, I hadn't priced it correctly at all. And it was a lot of stuff. It wasn't like a small thing. It was like a bunch of stuff. So I was like, oh my God, what did I do? So you really have to pay attention to
So
what might happen.
It's funny, right? So
Yeah.
on eBay, right? One of the things that on cards, the market determines free shipping on cards.
Right.
But if a card is over $20, I charge $5, not because I'm charging shipping, it's covering the insurance.
Right.
So when I sell
you got to cover whatever else you have to pay.
So and I explain to my buyers, I say, you're not paying for the shipping. You're covering the insurance if this goes south.
Right. And that's part of your business. That's a business expense that has to be covered.
Because when I'm selling a $250 card, the margins are so high on those. I mean, we're talking a 4 or 5x.
Right.
But so I'll eat a $10, $12 shipping cost as a courtesy.
Right.
But I charge $8 because it covers $400 of the insurance.
Right. But that's smart.
And when my buyer realizes that, oh snap, he's not charging me for the shipping, I'm paying the insurance. And then my buyer's like, oh, I get it now. So it's always useful in that regard. But I'm always curious because, again, sometimes like you just build in the price because my buyers don't need to know everything.
No.
Sorry. They don't need to know.
It's got to work for you on the back end. Otherwise, you won't be able to continue the service. You'll put yourself out of business.
I have nearly done that a few times.
Yeah. You got to
potentially multiple times today.
But you learn. As long as you learn from when that gets close, you'll be okay. You can't make the same mistakes a bunch of times. That'll destroy you.
Yeah, I agree. I've been in eBay business for 12 years. So what'd you say?
I said you're a warrior, man.
Oh my God. And then prior to that, I was running me and my mom are running it together prior to that. So I've been in this space for like 17 years.
Yeah.
I started selling $2 Lego minifigures.
Yeah, that's serious.
Figures. And the crazy part is that back in the day, you could figure out which ones were which by the barcodes.
Oh, yeah.
So I would be going and I'd be figuring out because the wrestler, the astronaut, the cheerleader were going for bank. So the cheerleader minifig was going for like $25 a pop. So I was taking $2 to 25.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was great. But I digress right there. And I am curious because obviously, I mean, you've done a bunch of other stuff too. So I believe you ran a convention.
Yeah, I've done 3 of them so far.
What was that like? Because you had some pretty interesting people there. You had some artists there. You had some, I think, people in the horror space there. You had some cool. I mean, you had some cool people there. Yeah. So what was that like?
Well, some fans were saying they wanted to cosplay my characters, and they were going to have an Alton Simpson day. And I was like, that sounds lame. Why don't we just have a Vampires in New Jersey convention? And then I became friends with Madam X, who's a vampire that is at the club QXT. She has vampire events. And I got invited there. And we became, I worked with her on a few things. And then she was like, why don't we just have it here at QXT, which is a cool club in Newark, New Jersey. And it was I didn't know, but it was in, what's the movie with Art the Clown? I'm blanking.
Art the Clown?
Yeah, Art the Clown. It was in Terrifier 2. They filmed there.
That's cool.
So then the Terrifier 2 people were like, hey, how come we're not at your convention? Can we come? Can we sign stuff? Because we shot the movie there. And I was like, what do you think? So that was the first one. And that was a lot of fun. And I became friends with Uncle Creepy, who's an awesome dude. Him and his wife, Danielle, become good friends. And, some horror people showed. And they're just cool to hang out with, He's worked with Romero. He's been in the business forever. And we do film panels, and he's always on the film panel telling these crazy stories of all these films he's been in. So it was a lot of fun, lots of cool vendors. I have DJs, alternative stuff.
So
We have a cosplay contest. You know,
so
we had
let me
that.
ask you this, because obviously, I mean, they're so I think it's really cool when people have done stuff beyond just doing their comic, and then they've run a convention. They're obviously in stores doing Kickstarter, other stuff, because you also do some film stuff as well. You
Yeah.
know, it adds credibility to you. I also think it increases your connections on a bunch of levels. So if you ever want to do something, you now know a lot of other people, and you've made connections
Yeah.
with people who can help you. But I
Yeah.
also think that there's something to be said about having more credibility, right? It's kind of
It
like,
helps.
when I've done over 1,200 interviews, right? So
Mhm.
when I go and approach somebody, right,
That's
and
amazing.
thank you, this was never the intention. I just genuinely, I thought
Mhm.
I was doing like 70 a year, and then COVID hit, and it completely changed the business
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
Indefinitely, because everybody needed help, and I just didn't stop.
Mhm.
But the idea is that all of a sudden I'm not a kid doing this anymore, and I've done it so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And once in a while you meet the right person who can help you tremendously.
Right.
And so it is that helps a lot.
Yeah.
And and,
Well.
and so I think there is something to be said about that.
Mhm. Yeah, it's helped with the branding and just in general, people are more familiar with what I do. So that's fun. Plus, you do a lot of events. I've met a lot of vendors, and I know what it's like to be a vendor. I know how tough it is. I know what you want out of it, and I try. The events are more like a community get together where you make money. So you're hanging out with people who love doing what they're doing and love what you're doing, and then the people that show up, they love independent horror related stuff.
You just mentioned something that I think is really the key here, is that when you run a show,
Mm-hmm.
and you're selling tables, dealing with
Yep.
vendors, other stuff, you now know exactly what it's like to
Oh
be
yeah.
on the opposite side of that.
Yeah.
And I think there's saying, and so when you go and you're at a convention, you understand their perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
You understand a comic shop's perspective. You understand that a comic shop wants to buy a table, and they can't be, ramsacked indefinitely and be
Right.
dropping $5,000 on a table because
Right.
they're going to make any money.
Yeah.
And so I think because that's, I think, where a disconnect happens. So we look at something like, because that's one of the biggest problems in comics right now, especially
Mhm.
comics, is that convention tables are going up, and it's like, how the
Yeah.
hell do you make
Yeah.
money?
I've been hearing that. Yeah.
I mean, StreamYard went from $25 to $45 a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of
It
money.
is. It's no joke.
And look, I'm eating the fat on it, because it's not that. I mean, I don't really have a choice. I'm not about to change my streaming position so quickly. But
Right.
the idea is that it means that it's harder to make money. If a
Yeah.
comic table at New York Comic Con, I don't know what it costs. I mean, you probably know more than me. But if
Yeah.
it goes up by 30%,
Yep.
I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. It's no joke.
So like that's what I think is so interesting, because when you run a show, you now understand it from the other side,
Yeah.
because you got to pay for the space, you got to pay for the insurance, you got to pay for security, you got to make sure your volunteers, if there's volunteers, that they're fed and they get a slice of pizza. Like,
Yeah.
all this sounds kind of crazy.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot to it, but once you know what people go through, you handle things differently. And being a vendor myself helps a lot. And once again, it gives me credibility with the people who come to the show, the vendors. You know, we've been through it together, so I strive to make it a special experience where they can make money. So
I,
it's
I,
memorable, it's fun, and you make some bucks. So it's a good time.
Yeah, making money is important. I like making
Yeah,
money.
it
I
is.
don't know. I have this nasty disease called I like making money.
Yeah,
It's really terrible.
you're
It's
not the
really
only one.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
When I lose money, I cry too. Oh
Well,
my
yeah,
god,
I can.
So oh my god, freaking army almost cost me like $250 today.
Mm.
I had money on army, then I moved it to Bucknell, and oh my god, what
Oh,
a stressful game, right? What a
mm.
stressful game.
Yep.
I have a gambling problem, everybody. I'm on track to gamble $500,000 this year.
Okay.
I should pull in about 12 to 14% in profit on that.
Okay. All right.
And
Gotta have
then
a plan, man.
what did you
Gotta
say?
have, gotta have a plan.
Oh, of course I have a plan. Of
You
course I
know,
have a plan. Now,
as long as it
grant,
works out.
let me explain how gambling works so everybody understands on DraftKings.
All
Let's say
right.
you win. Let's say you gamble $10 and you win $16.
Right.
If you then gamble your $16, you gamble $26. You did not gamble $10.
Hmm.
So it collectively adds up, right?
Yeah.
So this is how you gamble a lot of money without having. But remember, you only put $10 in.
Right.
So when I'm saying I'm gambling $500,000 this year, I
Hmm.
might have pumped in $2,000,
Hmm.
but you're running it
Right.
over and over
Over
and
and over and over.
over again. And even if you take out, let's say I put 2 G's on something and you pull three and you take out 1,000, you bet the two, you gambled the two again, you gambled $4,000, but you only put in two. So when you comes to tax time, it gets
Right.
very complicated because
Oh yeah.
because what it is that your taxes are on your gains. But if you
Okay.
just recycle the two over and over and over again, that's
Yeah.
your base.
Yep.
It's crazy. But,
Mhm.
but there are people who do this with 50,000
Yeah, I can imagine.
in their base. They don't lose their base, or you're gonna lose some, and you're gonna win some, but they win more than they lose, right?
Right.
But the thing is that they get taxed on anything above 50 because the 50 comes back to them, and that's not
Mhm.
taxable. That's your starter. It's insane,
Yeah.
and so you need a real tax professional, and I
Yeah.
am not that.
Yep.
Which is our sponsor today. No, but I digress. But obviously, yeah, because I was curious about your convention because you
Yeah.
know, I think it's awesome. I love alternative conventions
Yeah.
collectively.
It's a good time.
I love small conventions
Hmm.
a lot too. I like conventions that are not the big ones because I
Yeah.
find them to be more intimate, more
Yep.
relaxed. I
Yeah.
find like people do not want to stab me. I also find that
Yeah.
people are well bathed. It,
Yeah.
it's I mean I'll just call it like it is. I
Right.
mean I don't know how you feel, but
Yeah. Yeah.
we're
That's
going
true.
to Comic Con. I'm bringing some deodorant. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be the nicest person there. I'm
Yeah.
legitimately gonna hand out deodorant to people.
Yeah.
We're like, here you
Nice.
go, deodorant. Here's this. Here you go. Here you go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, you know what? This is on me. Don't worry about it. You need it more than I do, and I'm just
Yeah.
gonna walk through with a huge
There you go.
basket of
There you go.
deodorant. But again, enough about that. Obviously, I mean, you got a lot of people working on your books too. I love Lance Footer, Steph Wilson.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we
I've been
could.
lucky with the artists. They're great. They're the
Um,
best.
I mean, Greg Bow, love Greg
Mhm.
Bow.
Yeah.
I don't know who else is on your book.
Daxina.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Is Daxina? Is it she or do we not know?
I never know. I just go by the names, but the artwork is ridiculous. And I worked with Daxina a few times, and it's always interesting to me.
Because Daxina did stuff. I think for Daxina does stuff for Bad Donut and Zombie
Oh,
Eats Flesh.
right,
And that artwork is just sick.
right.
That company is such a sick company.
Yeah,
But I know him, their artwork. I'm not too sure,
yeah.
you know. But yeah. There's been a bunch of other people. I think Wendy Sheener is on that book too.
Yep, yep, yep.
So yeah. You got a lot of covers. So basically, there's something for everybody, right?
Yeah, I have my friend, burlesque entertainer Jenny Marie does a cover, and then horror actress Amber Brooke, she does a cover. So it's a real nice mix. Interesting imagery.
No, that's good, right? No. I'm excited for you. In which that obviously, I mean, this is we all know which Westchester it is. The
Mhm.
only mistake I made is that I didn't buy that first edition cover that Steph Wilson did. The original artwork on that should have bought
Oh,
it.
I'll see if I can dig one up for you.
Yeah, I got to get my finances in order first. I got to
Okay,
survive.
well, just let me know when.
No, the original art of that was just sick because I'm from Westchester, New York, right? So
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
it's so for those who don't know, I grew up in Yorktown and I'm from
Okay,
Westchester, New York. That's why
yeah,
this book is fun for
cool,
me because
cool.
I think it's great, right?
Yeah,
Um, and I just love Steph Wilson.
yeah.
I don't know. I
I
have
met Steph just before he really broke. Him and Carrie Ann met me, and the guy that convinced me to do the Kickstarter introduced me to them because they lived in Jersey then. It was like this time of year in 2020, and I was doing a super tiny con in the middle of winter at a VFW, and they came in, and he's like, "Oh, we're going to work with you on vampires." We hadn't gotten to that point yet, but I had been introduced, and they were working on the first cover for vampires, and they showed me their stuff, and I was like, "I've never seen anything like that before." And
it's
then
interesting, right?
before mine came out, he did like 5 Kickstarters with other people, and it was just like boom. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow, I'm really lucky to have met you guys.
So
And
so
they're
it's
they're they're incredible people. They're really good friends.
I interviewed both of them.
Yeah, they're
I
great.
thought it was one of my worst interviews, and apparently everybody's like, "Dude, you did a great
Well,
job."
just Steph is a little,
No,
obstinate about,
no. What it was is
giving you a
that
straight answer. But
no. So the interview was just
yeah,
like talking about like 9 covers. That was the whole thing, and we
yeah,
were talking about the concept and just talking about how he got
yeah,
into it. Carrie Ann was in on it,
yeah,
and I just felt something was off. And
yeah,
people were like, "Dude, this was great."
yeah,
Like, what are you talking about? It wasn't even him, right? Because
yeah.
it's always me, right? It's very
Right,
rare. So,
right.
every once in a while, I'm not gonna name who, but I thought I was pulling teeth in
Yeah,
an interview once, and
yeah,
oh my god, that was just bad, right?
yeah,
Um, the whole interview, I was just pulling teeth, but
yeah,
not with him. I just felt, oh man, and I was speaking to somebody, and no, and the guy was like, dude, you did a great job. You
yeah,
did a great job with that. I'm like, oh man, I just felt like I
yeah.
fucked up, guys.
Well, you opened them up to talk. That's the key.
It's very weird when somebody feels they did a horrible job and it's like, no, that was a great interview. And
Yeah,
I'm like, well, what are you guys talking about, right? And then I know when
yeah. You're like, did you see the same interview?
I don't know what you guys saw, but I was not
I was
feeling it.
there.
Like,
You see, it looked different to me. Yeah.
but same thing with Greg Bow, right? But I had a great interview with Greg Bow Watson. Greg Watson is absolutely great.
Mm.
I love
There's
Greg.
another brilliant artist in him and Gwen.
I mean, I don't know Gwen. I know Greg because I've interviewed Greg
Yeah,
and I enjoy Greg Watson. I enjoy his art.
yeah,
Certain things of his are just brilliant. I
yeah.
don't know if you've ever seen should have forgot the company, but they did like a Mary Jane type cover,
Mm,
and oh my god, I gave
yeah,
Greg the best suggestion. I don't know if they ever did it, but I
yeah.
gave Greg Watson the suggestion for it. I
Yeah.
said, you got to do it. You got to do it because if you do this topless, so they
Hmm.
did Mary Jane in a bikini, and the bikini is Spider-Man's face.
That's cool. Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Right. And they were laid on. I said, guys, don't worry about it. I get it. I'm
yeah,
not worried about it. You're not the problem in my life. And I
yeah,
said, you do topless and you do Venom, but you do on her bikini bottom, just the mouth.
yeah, yeah,
And I said, you do a Venom version of this and you do
yeah,
just the mouth and the tongue coming out.
yeah.
And
It's
it's
Venom,
so
man.
and they didn't do it. And I'm like, how do
Yeah.
you missed the boat here, guys? But I digress.
I'm
I
sure they'll
digress.
get back to it.
No.
But yeah, I've been lucky to work with a lot of really good, you know, just brilliant artists. So
I'm taking the idea back.
there you
They no longer have the right to do that idea. Oh man, they've lost the privilege.
you
Oh,
reclaimed it.
what would you say?
I said you reclaimed it.
I am reconcentrating the idea. That's
Yeah,
what I'm doing. But I
yeah,
digress. Obviously, a lot of stuff's going on in comics. We're all screwed
hmm,
with everything.
yeah.
I don't know how you feel about the economy.
It
I
sucks.
am
You know,
I'm
waiting for it to
optimistic.
get better.
I'm
But
optimistic though, and I'll tell you why I'm optimistic, right?
mhm,
And maybe I'm optimistic for a different reason. Is that I now know what to expect.
right.
If that makes sense. So
Yeah,
all 2020. So I I had a rough 2025, but the reason why I had a rough 2025 is because Caitlin Clark did not play in the WNBA.
Okay.
When she doesn't play in the WNBA, my WNBA sales go down by 40%.
All right. Oh, okay. I see.
So
Yeah, that directly affected your business model. Yeah.
that bitch didn't play. It's the first and only time a woman has ever fucked up my business.
Well, shit happens, man. I don't know what to tell you.
She better play this fucking year.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say is that she better get her ass in gear and she better shoot those threes from the logos because I need her to do her job. If I could go to my job in the middle of a tough year, she could do her job. I'm sorry. She's making a lot more money than I am.
I agree.
Actually, that's not true. She's making about 25% more than I was making at my job. So she's not making a ton more money, but her Nike deal is worth every penny. But not the point.
Yeah.
Not the point here. But I had a very rough situation in 2025 because one woman fucked up my business completely.
Yeah, that's unfortunate and unforeseeable.
But, and the real problem is that I didn't even get to enjoy the WNBA because she wasn't playing. So my business was screwed, and then I got hit twice as hard. So it's bad enough. It's bad enough that my business suffered.
Yeah.
And it's even worse that the WNBA was like 50% worse. Right. She wasn't playing. Right. See, I had to suffer twice. This is why I am more optimistic.
Life's not fair, dude. No.
100%. I agree.
Not fair.
I agree.
But
I digress. I do want to give you a chance to promote yourself, unless you want to talk about me.
Well, Witches of Westchester 3 Kickstarter is on. It's up. Get some cool stuff. There's plenty of stuff on there. There's digital stuff. There's physical stuff. Lots of great artists. I don't know. It's just a fun. It's a fun book. The graphic novel will be great, and I think I even put my entire shared universe up there somewhere. So there's plenty, plenty for you to play with and get. The Film Festival, Vampires, New Jersey Film Festival. If you're a filmmaker, submit your film. It's at Kevin Smith's world famous Smodcastle Theater. It'll be a lot of fun. That's May 23rd. So find that online. My convention will be later this year. And hopefully I get to film some actual Vampires of New Jersey stuff, probably by June. Bunny Goes to Space. I want to get back to that in July. I'll probably be launching Kickstarter for that. So.
And then I've been saying it for a while, is that if you like projects, you got to back them. You got to support them. Kickstarter, websites, people have eBay stores, local comic shops. There's all that. And then since this is my show, I like to promote myself. So obviously I am Pop Anime Comics on Twitter /X, Pop Anime Comics on Instagram, Pop Anime Comics on Facebook, Pop Anime Comics on the YouTube. A lot of cool stuff. Gonna have a really, really fun Friday. A lot of Pokemon on YouTube. Super excited for that. Oh my God, I'm going through at least like 20% of the whole Pokemon list. It's crazy. It's a blast. When McDonald's has Pokemon, guys, you gotta have them. Those cards are going to be worth a lot of money too, which is crazy. But not the point. This is not financial advice. That is on Friday night. No, it's not. But obviously YouTube, I've been saying it for a while, is that I got over 1,200 interviews. There's something for everybody on my YouTube channel. I cannot promise that you'll get smarter by watching me, but I can assure you that you'll be entertained. I can assure you'll be entertained. And then obviously I'm on TikTok, and then I do run another show that I've been on hiatus called Big Boy Card Collecting, and that whole YouTube channel. And we do a lot of card education, a lot of breaks, a lot of opening up stuff. I got a really cool John Cena set coming probably in the next month. His 25 years, 25 commemorable pack. Super excited for that. Going to be breaking that. It's 22 cards. We know the 22 cards in there, guys. The 3 we don't. And the 3 could be really cool. It could be patches, autos, parallels, inserts, Awesome product. One of the greatest things Topps has ever released. And then on top of that, I have an eBay store, guys. And this is my eBay store right here. Look for Comics and Collectibles. Come shop us on eBay at Pop Out Comics Collectibles. And I sell books like this in my store.
Right.
I sell books like this in my store. I'm still trying to figure out who this artist is. Maybe you can help. That's Shikari, in case anybody didn't know.
Yeah.
So this is I sell books like that. I got a bunch of Shikari stuff.
Right.
I sell cards like this in my store. I sell stuff like this in my store. Limited 25s, 101s all the time. I sold this one, which is the $1,000 card of Diana Taurasi. So I do get stuff like that. And I have everything from $8 cards all the way up to a $1,500 plus card right now on my eBay store. So you name it, I got it. And then every once in a while, I will release something like this in my store, which is a John Cena matte relic.
Right.
Let me get to that, or something like this, which is a stock and a card. Don't ask. Just nod your head and understand that that's really cool stuff. But that's the type of stuff I carry, and I've been saying it for a long time, is that first off, go to my eBay store if you're looking for comics, cards, Pop Funkos, collectibles.
Right.
Look through the store. If you don't see what you're looking for, shoot me a message, because I may have it. It just might not be listed, because I do circle merch around. And if I got it, I'll list it for you. Happy to sell you whatever you want.
Right.
And if I don't have it, I know a lot of people, and I'm more than happy to direct you to it. So, for instance, I don't have any money in space stuff, right? But you might have some stuff, and I'm more than happy to direct people, if you're looking for that stuff, everybody, to you. Or, for instance, I don't carry full frontal books, but I know I have friends who do. And I have businesses. More than happy to direct business so that you can get what you want, because I get it. It's tough to hunt down stuff. It's tough for your collection or whatever you want. It's brutal. So I get it completely. And I'm here to help you. And ideally, I would appreciate it when people do that for me. And some people have. So we don't all carry stuff. So that's the point.
Great. All right, Andrew.
On that note, I'm going to give you the final word.
Everybody try and be happy out there. Things aren't great. They will get better. Focus on whatever it is you love to do and refine that. And eventually you'll get your opportunity to shine. So I'm at Vampires of NJ on Instagram and Vampires New Jersey on Facebook. And I'm also on Kickstarter, obviously. So just get some cool stuff and try and enjoy life.
Links in the description, and I don't think I could have said that any better myself, everybody, and that is a wrap.